Tonight on Country Squire Radio, do your pipes smell bad? Mine don't, but apparently that happens to people, and we're going to help you out. Also, we've got a wonderful pipe question from a relative newbie, let's say. All of that with quick-fire questions, your listener feedback, and more. Oh, and a major pipe giveaway, like at the top of the show that's starting right now.
It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. It's a massive deal. It's the kind of deal you want to tell, your mom and them about. So here it goes. It's happening now. Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Beau.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Beau. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's an exciting day here at the Country Squire. Man, just so much going on. I feel like, it's already into 2017, and I'm still kind of planning the year out. And so, man, it's, wasn't able to get a lot of that done at the end of last year. And so, man, just looking forward to a lot of cool events we've got coming up over the next several months.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So anyway, more to be told at a future date, but really excited. I think this is going to be a fun year.
That's awesome, man. I got to give you some props. When I walked into the store today, I noticed something that was a little different than usual.
What's up?
Everything is extremely clean. The floors are clean. The counters are clean. I mean, I know this is a podcast.
It's so weird,
but like everything. It actually, you had a friend helping out. Steven was working today.
I did. Steve, my buddy Steven, he lives here locally, and when Caleb can't work, Steven's decided and agreed to pinch hit. So he's a lot neater than we are.
Big time. He was like scrubbing the counters, like I'm talking about, like almost with a toothbrush. You understand? He's getting real in there, making sure these things are shining.
He was the one that said, you got to be careful in this shop because if you spill some water on the floor, it'll leave a clean spot.
Dude,
and there's really something to that, Like I have had customers when they've seen me cleaning on the rare occasions that I do, and they have threatened to leave because the shop may get too clean.
Right.
And that's part of the ambiance, right?
Some of this dust has been here since the founding of this country.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, people pay good money for that.
Yeah. The Cretaceous ages happened here. There's probably dinosaur bones, not buried underneath, just in the store.
No, in the shop.
We won't know because of the clutter, but one way or the other, they're probably. I'm just kidding, man. It's a beautiful shop.
This reminds me. Have I told our listeners about the exchange I had with one of our neighbors here in the quarter? That oh
wait, are you talking about your beef?
Beef?
The beef with the next?
No.
No. Never mind.
No. There's another one. Yeah. So there's a. Well, we'll just we won't call out any names, but that one of our neighbors had some major surgery or something at one point and was on these crazy pain medicines and was just going nuts.
Oh.
And she came down here in a fury one day, and she said, this is when Mrs. Reeves owned the shop, so it's been at least 4 years, but she looked at Miss Gwen and she said, you need to know that I know that you're hiding Civil War artifacts from the public, and I demand you release them immediately. And of course, Mrs. Reeves at the time was 89 years old. So she was like, oh, really? Are there something like that in our shop?
Right.
So they went digging around in all the cupboards and stuff, and I got to work, and they had pulled out all this stuff, and because one of the neighbors had threatened, to reveal that we were hiding priceless Civil War artifacts.
It belongs in a museum.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, at that point, the shop was basically a museum anyway. But it was just so funny. Yeah. So anyway, that's the kind of shop you come in when you might find Christmas decorations here from 1973.
Yeah, no, they're probably in here somewhere. Hey, we gotta make mention of something. A couple episodes back, we mentioned that this podcast was actually nominated for a Best Local Podcast Award here in Jackson, Mississippi. We did not win, but we wanted to thank everyone who nominated us.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I'm being honest, man, I feel like we got robbed. I do. I mean,
yeah, the guy that won is just a total schmuck.
That guy,
I wouldn't trust him with anything.
He's only been.
I wouldn't trust him with a $3 bill.
3 years or something like that. Maybe 4.
And, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
what's his name? Like
Beau,
it's
me. I won.
Beau joke.
Yeah, no,
something like that.
No, it's York. No, I won. No, but I did actually. This year we had 2 podcasts nominated. Podasteria had 2 podcasts nominated. One, of course, being Country Squire Radio. The other being actually a locally focused show called Let's Talk Jackson.
Yeah.
This is the first year that they ever actually had Best Podcast as a category in these awards. They've done these awards for like 15, 16 years.
It's been a while now, yeah. But man, I was so excited just to be in the mix. And, you know, of course, Jackson's not a huge metropolitan area, but it's one of those things like anytime you get, you know, recognized for something like that, you're excited about it. And for you to have two, you know, productions in the same thing, that's
hey, man,
pretty great.
I was shocked and honored. But,
we figured, you know, honestly, that Let's Talk Jackson would probably get it because it is a locally focused podcast, and just a lot of, you know, interest here in our city about revitalization.
That's true.
Community involvement, things like that. So, but I know in your deepest heart of hearts that we're still your friends.
Well, no, I'll put it this way, man. There's a reason that we didn't really like at least me personally, I didn't like push for it on this show because I felt like Country Squire Radio being on that list was almost kind of unfair to everybody, including my other show, Let's Talk Jackson.
Yeah.
Because Country Squire Radio is so huge compared to everything else that is on those shows. And also, if we pushed it too hard and then we had all these votes coming in from Indonesia and England and everything else, this little local award might get a little.
It might have gotten a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, we might have gotten flagged somewhere.
Like disqualified.
Yeah, so from that standpoint. But thank you to all of the local folks who did nominate us for the award. We really greatly appreciate it.
It feels good to be, you know, validated for that.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, you know, Beau's the one that does all the production stuff, and man, just puts together a really high quality piece of work. And we're glad to have that, you know, that visibility.
Look, it's in my opinion, it's the best case scenario because this way, like even if you're a nominee or kind of a, you know, one of the finalists, you still get kind of a not a plaque per se, but like this thing to hang up in your place of business.
Yeah, so people know you've been recognized.
Yeah, so Country Squire Radio got one, which will be up here in the Country Squire Tobacconist, and then also Let's Talk Jackson got one, which will be up in the Podastery Studios. So man, it's at the end of the day, I think we netted positive right there.
Yeah, next year I'm gunning for you though.
Yeah, me too. I'm gunning for myself as well. Yeah, man, it's really great. Well, hey, there is a reason why people right now are sitting on the edge of their seats.
They are, man. It's so exciting.
And that is because, of course, those of you who've been tuning in for the last several episodes, in fact, every single episode since the beginning of the year, we had the big announcement that, yes, Country Squire Radio is expanding. We now have the Country Squire Radio Pipe Club.
That's right.
Of which is now well over 40 members. We're kind of pushing 50.
So great.
It's incredible. We've got some great names to read off here in just a minute. But I got to tell you, like, it's been amazing to see the excitement, to see the growth, you know, to see some of the names coming through. And for this particular week, this past week, we've had some new members joining us as I work to pull up the list right here through all the various windows that I've got going on. Shout out to new pilgrims joining at $3 an episode level. We've got George Dracolius. It's always I always got to do the most difficult one for me to pronounce at first, because that's the thing. It's not difficult for people to pronounce; it's just difficult for me to pronounce.
No, yeah, but this has become a running gag. Yeah, if you
it's
have
intentional, that's exactly right.
If you have an easy name to pronounce and you interact with the show at all, we ask that you just substitute a false name.
Yep.
That and you know, any level of difficulty.
Yeah. Call me Ishmael. That'd be good. But yeah, shout out to George. We also had Drew Causey join at the Pilgrim level, Paul Hendrick as well. Guys, welcome at the Pilgrim level, and then at the full Squire level, we've also got Michael Ayers that joined, as well as Joseph Kim, as well as, and I when I saw this name, guys,
It's so cool.
I was kind of fanboying out a little bit. Joining the Country Squire Radio Pipe Club as a founding member, as all of you whose names we've read out over the last several weeks are joining at at a founder level here at the Squire level, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Phil Morgan.
Phil Morgan
of Missouri Meerschaum Pipe.
That's right, man. We're so glad to have Phil on board.
Man,
it's great.
If you are a Country Squire Radio Pipe Club member, you are now in good company. I mean, you always were, because I mean, all of y'all are great. I don't try to imply that we're picking favorites here, but I mean, that's royalty right there.
That's pipe smoking royalty. Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on board, Phil. Man, just everyone that has graciously agreed to join the club and support what Beau and I do here each week. Man, it makes the difference in our ability to bring this to you, and I think it's going to bring us some good opportunities to connect even further as a community, you know, in the future. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, in fact, we you know, over at patreon.com/Country Squire Radio, where you can become a member, we are over halfway towards our first goal. Which is, you know, once we get to that first goal, we will be opening up the Country Squire Online Lounge, an exclusive Facebook group specifically for Country Squire Radio Club members. So if you have not done so already, head over to patreon.com/Country Squire Radio. John David, is there something else that you'd like to share?
No, I just love, Portland Paul on here trolling you on Twitter for just jacking up everyone's name, including his own. So yeah, this is great. But anyway,
Portland Payol. I think that's right. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. But here's the thing, man. All of everybody who's been joining the club these last several weeks, they're all sitting on the edge of their seats. Why? Because last week we announced that we're giving away a gift to one very lucky Pipe Club member. John David, tell them a little bit about what we got that we're giving out today.
Yeah, this is so cool. Beau and I have talked about this. We wanted to just kind of start this Pipe Club off with a bang, where we gave away some significant items to make folks feel welcome, and it's just always fun. It's always fun to be in the mix for this type of thing. Even if you just are eligible for it, but don't wind up getting it. Although it is more fun to get it, let's be honest.
Are you kidding me?
So we've given away some
Wait,
cool
are we
stuff.
eligible? I don't know that we included ourselves in the drawing.
We're not.
Can I redraw?
No.
Okay,
false. But anyway, so it's just always exciting to have this kind of thing going on. So we've given away some really nice stuff, some custom leather goods, a couple of really nice lighters, a pipe, and various other things. But man, this week is the big one. It is a custom meerschaum pipe carved by our friends at Mere Queen Pipes. We got this straight from Istanbul, Turkey.
Man,
Mere Queen, real nice guys out there, and love to deal with them. But they actually carved this custom pipe mic meerschaum for us. It's actually dipped in wax, and so the color that it currently is, it will be this color forever. And if you maintain it and just take good care of it. But beautiful, huge meerschaum pipe. It's got a real deep bowl, and it is in the shape of our logo, which we, of course, that our friend Pylorns did in Austin, Texas. James did that logo, I guess, for us 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. And of course, we had this, commissioned in honor of that, and we just think it's going to be a really cool gift for someone. So we're excited to give that away.
Man, the live show is just absolutely railing on me right now about the name thing. I love you guys. I'm so sorry.
It's pitiful.
All right, man. I just want to look at this one last time, because I know after I put this down, it will officially belong to somebody else and no longer be something that I could smoke. I mean, I've never smoked it before, and I've admired it.
That's right.
And there was always kind of this like, well, we don't have to give it away.
We don't have to give it away.
Yeah, we could keep it for ourselves. Gorgeous pipe mic here, going to a club member. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're ready to find out who it's going to be.
Who is it?
The winner is someone whose name I am about to say right now. And I hope I don't butcher their name. I don't think that I can.
This one's easy.
Cooper Miles. Cooper Miles!
Man, congratulations, Cooper.
Man.
Cooper's just a real good friend of the show. Actually, one of our local listeners. It's kind of neat. So we won't even have to ship this out.
Didn't you say that Cooper stopped by sometime last week or something like that?
Yeah. Cooper was like, "Now I want to see these prizes now." So he made sure to sign up at a pretty early date for the podcast club. But anyway, we're just really excited, Cooper. I'm tickled that this could go to such a dear friend. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So there you go. Now, guys, that kind of concludes this month. We've been really drumming up a lot of excitement about the club doing kind of a weekly giveaway. I think honestly we've enjoyed doing this so much that from time to time we're going to hit you with some random surprises. So those of you in the club, you may not have won this month, but you never know. You never know what's coming down the pipeline, if you will. I think it'll be really, really fun and interesting, and to just be able to surprise people from time to time.
I love this. Just me, DC. He's like, you messed up my last name, Collar. You called it Collier?
Did I?
Yeah, I mean, it's just from now on, anytime you interact with us, we just really need you to send in a phonetic guide.
No, it's not going to work.
You
need to understand something. Dyslexia means dyslexia. I am glad, like, even if you send it in phonetically, I still may butcher it.
You butcher it too.
Yeah. As long as it's in writing in the English language, expect that I will butcher it. I think that's really what it comes
try
down to.
entries in hieroglyphics from now on. That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
We'll pull out our Rosetta Stone to work it out.
I think that would be good. I think that would definitely be good. Well, man, So congratulations, of course, and look for great things down the road. Hey, by the way, before we jump into tonight's topic, I do have to give a shout out to a friend of the show, club member, and a pseudo local. I mean, I feel like he pops up enough that we can almost qualify him as local.
Yeah.
Mark VV, a listener from New Orleans. He actually he hooked us up this past week.
He did, man. It was really exciting. I'm sitting at the shop. All of a sudden, the UPS guy comes in, which is pretty normal, but he's carrying a box that is covered in purple, green, and gold. And I'm like, what is this? I know it couldn't be inventory for the shop, so I signed for the package. I look at it, and it's a king cake. And Mark actually was gracious enough to send the shop here a beautiful king cake from I forget the name of the store in New Orleans. It was one of the top shelf stores down there. There are bakeries that sell king cakes. I'm not as familiar with it, but apparently there's all these bakeries in New Orleans that kind of jockey for the best king cake, and the locals have their favorites. They're like, oh, I don't know why you'd like this one. This one's better, and they go back and forth. But
dude, king cake's something you could screw up pretty easily.
Yeah, but this came from one of the bakeries that was known to be one of the best king cakes in New Orleans. So, really exciting. It was delicious, and we all shared it around the shop, and it did not last, but maybe, I don't know, 4 hours at the max. So it was great.
Yeah, man. It was delicious to look at. That's all I'll say.
Aren't you on the starve me diet or something?
Those of you who have been with us for the last couple of years, about 2 years ago, I went on this hardcore diet because for health reasons, I needed to lose all this weight. And I was getting to a place around the end of last year where I wasn't quite as bad as I was before, but I was kind of getting close to it. And I thought, you know what, let me try to get ahead of this thing. So I'm back again for these next 3 months. I'm trying to lose 30 pounds in 3 months.
Yeah, dude.
Which is very doable.
Well, you've already lost some, haven't you?
Well, I've lost 10 pounds.
Yeah, I can see
and
it.
So you shouldn't be able to see it. It should be gone.
No, I mean, I see. Yeah, you're right. I see. There's less of you than there was.
Right. But the thing is, I walk in right as the king cake's delivered, and you lay it out. I'm like, I can't be here. It's been rough, man. Even earlier today, I was.
Yeah, Steven offered you a fistful of toffee or something.
Toffee. Yeah. It looked amazing. Who just gives out a can of free toffee? That only happens when you're trying not to eat things like that.
Yeah.
So,
it
just kind of is what it is. But yeah, so big shout out to Mark VV. Thanks so much for hooking us up and hooking up the great community here in the Squire. I know that a lot of people enjoyed that. Delicious.
It was great. A couple of people, it was their first king cake.
No.
Actually. Yeah, which I thought was kind of
Mississippi.
Yeah, down here, we're close enough to the coast in New Orleans to kind of have that influence. Folks just eat king cake when it's this time of year. But a couple people, it was their first one, and they really enjoyed it. So it was good.
Absolutely, man. All right, so tonight's show, we are talking about a topic that I almost wanted to qualify as a pipe 101, but honestly, I feel like this is something that you have to be smoking a pipe a while to really appreciate the problem.
Yeah, I think so.
And tonight we are talking about smelly pipes.
That's right.
Smelly pipe, smelly pipe. What are they smoking in you?
Any reason to give Beau to sing is actually terrifying. So I immediately regret this. But, oh man, it's so cool. This episode was inspired by a really cool thread on thispipelife.com. Actually, started by our own friend Pappy Joe. Pappy was talking about just some interesting ways he had found to freshen up pipes that just didn't smell right, had gone kind of stale or actually just stunk, And so, and I know Pappy Joe, you're one of our longtime friends. I know you're watching live tonight, and man, I just saw that as I was kind of reading through there. I was like, man, there's a lot of wisdom here that I think longtime pipe smokers could benefit from if it's something that you have experienced before and just want to learn more about. I've seen it more in the shop as well too. We've got occasionally these wives will come in. We have these men that smoke their pipes, and the wife kind of has to deal with them sitting on the shelf. And God, you got all these pipes, sitting around, and he needs another pipe rack, and they're just sitting in the drawers and the cupboards and everything, and they stink. They just stink. And so we've got these folks that come in occasionally, either spouses or the smoker themselves, and are like, man, I just don't know how to make this pipe smell better. I feel like I have to leave it outside because it just stinks. Now I'm talking not when the pipe is lit. I'm talking when the pipe is actually sitting in the resting position on the shelf. We're talking just pipes that have some mileage on them. Maybe they've started to sour a little bit or go bitter, but the odor is kind of carrying over too. just into daily use. And so anyway, we had some there was some interesting banter on there at the thispipelife.com board, and so I just kind of wanted to talk about some of that and go from there and see and see what some different folks experiences were.
Yes, I feel like, okay, so smell is in the eyes of the beholder. It's in the eyes of the sniffer.
Yeah, it's funny because when you and I discussed this, you were actually like, I don't understand. None of my pipes smell bad.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, at the same time, it's like, sometimes you don't know that you smell bad. Like, I'll put it this way. You smell bad when you smell bad.
Yeah.
But the reality is that, sometimes you just don't know.
Everybody likes their own brand, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, you get in somebody's car and they think this is heaven and you think, well.
Right.
And so.
Let's roll the window down.
I have no earthly idea. In all fairness, I keep my pipes kind of, out of sight, out of mind for the wife and kids. So I have nobody to compare them against.
Well, and there are instances, too, where, even if you aren't aware, you might buy a new pipe, or like you might buy an estate pipe, some pipe that's been used and used before, and maybe it just has kind of an odor to it that doesn't quite make sense, and so you just think this something was smoked in here. It's not just a taste, but it's also an odor that just doesn't smell right. So a lot of times they're just reasons to clean your pipe in ways to get some of that stank out.
I mean, there are certain tobaccos too that really kind of permeate the smell. I think
that's right.
First, that it is occurring to me now. I did actually have one pipe that was given to me. It was an estate pipe, if you will.
Yeah.
Very special to me. It was a great gift from a good close friend. And it was one of his pipes that he just wasn't smoking all that much, but he smoked it enough so that it had a strong Latakia lingering, which I'm not a huge Latakia guy.
Has that delicious aroma of road tar.
Right. Exactly.
Well, again, this type of thing can happen for a lot of reasons. Of course, I think the most prevalent thing is a lot of times pipes, when they're not cleaned, they just build up kind of a essence of saliva. And that, we think about saliva as just being a liquid, but, you think about all the bacteria that's there and mixed with the char and the ashes from the tobacco itself and any of the cake that might be in the pipe.
Right.
After a while, they can just kind of start to taste bitter, and that bitterness can even translate into an odor. So anyway, I think there are some things we can do. Obviously, first thing I'll let you know, just from a tobacconist standpoint, please clean your pipes. I mean, I think it's so funny.
This is a PSA from Country Squire Radio.
It's so funny how often I have to really remind folks to do this, but like that, there are pipe cleaners for a reason. Like they're not just made for making little figurines in kindergarten.
Yeah, it's not just for your kids to make bugs out of.
That's right, or little toy giraffes and in preschool. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason I tend to smoke pipes and buy pipes that I know can run a pipe cleaner all the way through without taking it apart. Like that's kind of almost become a litmus test for me. Like I will hardly ever purchase a pipe until I know that I can run a cleaner through it without having to take it apart at all. And the reason that's important to me is because I like to clean a pipe as soon as I'm done smoking it. So like I'm sitting here smoking this beautiful Stanwell tonight, Stanwell Trio. I've got
that is a gorgeous pipe.
Christmas cheer in there. It's just a real nice pipe, straight billiard. And but what I love about this pipe and other pipes like it is that, when I'm done smoking this pipe tonight, I'll scrape the ashes out of the tobacco with my check tool. I'll use the little spoon on there, and I'll take a pipe cleaner. I'll turn it into U and kind of scrub the bowl out a little bit. And then without taking the pipe apart, I will just run a cleaner straight through and out, and then I'm done. Like that's done. It. And so the biggest thing I think is anytime you've got char, leftover tobacco that's left inside the bowl, and then also the bacteria from those, just the saliva that sits in your pipe, it's eventually just gonna start to smell, and we want those things out. We want those things out of there. Right. So clean your pipe. But if you have not cleaned your pipe, or if you bought a pipe that is older and just kind of does have an odor to it, our first stop, of course, is some type of cleaner or sweetener. There's a brand out there that makes pipe sweetener. It's called Briar Fresh, actually. There used to be some other brands. Castleford made a really great pipe sweetener for a long time. I don't think they make that anymore. But
the Febreze for your pipe.
That's right. That's exactly right. But it's called Decatur, Decatur brand makes Briar Fresh. We carry it here at the Squire.
Oh, wow.
Any other pipe shop will probably carry it too. But so you'll take this, dip your pipe cleaner in it, and then just kind of scrub it out really good. A lot of times too, these pipe sweeteners, they have a little pour spout on the lid, and so you can drop the sweetener inside the chamber of the pipe itself, kind of swish it around, and then give it a good scrub, just to get plenty of that in there. So anyway, I think that is stop number one as far as kind of freshening up that smelly pipe. We also talk about folks using things like bourbon or rum or your favorite alcohol.
Oh yeah.
Too, just to kind of do that. And I think
does that count as a sweetener?
Yeah, they have enough sugar in them where
Sure.
I think you are going to find it sweeter. But in some senses, though, you're kind of just overpowering the the smell with another smell.
Right.
Or you might be
right.
overpowering the taste with another taste. But I do think that can accomplish a lot. So. And it's always kind of fun, you pick out, a whiskey that you like, or maybe something that's just sitting around. And not that we leave whiskey sitting around.
No, we leave it on the counter on the floor.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, at Country Squire Radio, there's a lot
zone.
that's like spilled all over the counter. But I liked tonight before the show, you actually moved your Jameson to out of the danger zone.
Yeah, some of our cask Jameson here left over.
Nice. We got left over from our
Squire
tasting,
Select,
right? Yeah. But so anyway, think about that. Think about just the ability to use some type of sweetener or bourbon to do that. A lot of times, though, to be honest, that is not going to be enough to really clean that smelly pipe that's just sitting on the shelf, kind of emitting this odor. And so this is where a lot of folks start. They go to the salt treatment. Okay, salt treatments. We've talked about this before on the show. It's actually been a long time since we've done this in depth. This is probably worth a show in itself. Just kind of describing a real intensive pipe cleaning. One of those things where, okay, we've got a pipe, it's nasty. We really just want to reset this pipe. We want this pipe to be reset so that, if it's been a heavy English blend pipe and I want to use it for a
cherry tobacco,
aromatic or something, or vice versa, we want to take this pipe and just reset it. And the salt treatment is kind of the gold standard for this. So a lot of folks have heard this, and just to give you kind of a quick rundown of what that is, you'll take kosher sea salt, and actually I think on that thread that I referenced earlier, Pappy had even mentioned like a ice cream rock salt, those big hunks of salt that you kind of find when you're making homemade ice cream.
That's interesting, because those are pretty chunky.
Pretty chunky, yeah. But they're going to do the job. So you'll actually fill the bowl of your pipe with the salt, which is kind of neat, and then you'll put it into a kind of a standing upright position. A lot of folks, what I've seen them do before is take a bowl and maybe fill it with rice, something where the pipe can kind of sit in there and sit upright, and overnight. And so you'll fill it with the salt, and then have it standing upright. Put it in some rice or a pipe stand or something like that. And then you will actually take a lot of folks will use Everclear. It's 100% grain alcohol, and so not 100%, but it's grain alcohol that's just off the charts.
Stout stuff.
Alcoholic. The only thing Everclear is good for is fraternity parties that you regret. Cleaning the road tar off the side of your car, or cleaning a pipe. It's the only thing. That's the only thing Everclear is good for.
In reverse order.
Yeah, that's right. So you'll want to get that. You drop it inside the bowl and kind of fill that chamber up with the Everclear, with the salt already in there. And make sure with the Everclear, it's very high alcohol content, so you don't want to get that on the outside of your pipe. If you get any dabbed on the outside of the pipe, you want to immediately remove that, because it will mess with the finish of the pipe. But if you'll fill that up, you'll actually let it sit overnight. Some folks let it sit as long as 24 hours. And what's cool, you'll come back to it and realize that all that salt has turned brown or even black from just absorbing all the crud that's inside the side of that bowl. And so it really a neat thing. And what some folks will do is they'll actually do that on multiple occasions. So they'll do this multiple times in a row, just to try to get as clean of a bowl as possible. So if you do that, you'll want to make sure not to let not smoke your pipe immediately, but let it sit for a day or two, dry out, and then go from there. But I think you'll notice that really helps a lot with a pipe that just tastes bad and smells bad from the beginning. So, so that's an option for you. Some people will use like isopropyl alcohol.
Well, hang on just a second with the salt thing. I got a quick question on that. So if I go the salt method, is it, to me, it seems like the saltiness, like I risk that being a lingering flavor. You know what I mean? Like I would much rather have the lingering taste of, say, whiskey than I would, which I would imagine would actually go pretty quick after a couple of smokes, as opposed to like salt, which is a pretty potent flavor.
Well, the thing about the salt is you're not really scrubbing it in. It's not absorbing into the briar. It's kind of vice versa. The salt is actually sucking out through the alcohol. It's actually sucking stuff out of the side of the pipe and almost acting more like a sponge.
So it really doesn't leave much in terms of taste behind.
That's right. That's right. And any residual flavors typically from a process like that burn out almost immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of folks, once they scrape all that out, they'll just kind of set the inside of their pipe alight quickly and let the alcohol vapors, just burn out almost instantly.
Gotcha. So, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair
that
enough.
salt when it's mixed with the alcohol just really tends to act like just a really deep sponge that just it's the reverse really as far as the flavors go.
Got
it. Some people, I was going to say, will use isopropyl alcohol. To be honest, I'd be wary with that. I don't know. There's something about putting rubbing alcohol in your pipe that just kind of creeps me out a little bit. So Everclear is bad enough, and sometimes folks are kind of wary of walking into the liquor store and buying an entire handle of Everclear just to scrub a few pipes out with.
Right.
But I will say I do prefer the method, and I also can attest that Everclear, if you can find it, does come in a pint version. So
you know so much about the consumption methods and the purchase methods of Everclear.
The only thing I use it for is scrubbing pipes.
Yeah,
but I scrub a lot of pipes.
Of course.
So, and I just know the package store next to our shop, they carry it in a pint size.
All right. Well, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. That all checks out. To be fair, I can't.
Did that all check out?
That all checks out.
Okay. Good. I can fake it. What was cool, and I referenced, kind of Pappy Joe's experiment that he did, and he discussed it on this pipelife.com, our good friends over there. But Joe had this idea, and I don't know where you came across this, Joe. We'd love to hear that. But he had this idea of taking used coffee grounds and actually filling the bowl of the pipe with coffee grounds. And so what's interesting is sometimes you'll do all these different methods and your pipe will still kind of smell, or it might even still taste bad, or just something. There might be some kind of residual thing there. And so Joe found, this idea of actually using coffee grounds to put in the bowl of the pipe, let it sit for a while, and then just see what happens. And so what he did is he took we're all familiar with these Keurig coffee machines.
Oh yeah, I love those things.
Yeah, they're great.
I know I shouldn't, because I mean, like, I love for example, the amazing coffee that you get from Bean Fruit Coffee. Use the code CSR because I think that still works for
that's right.
5% off. But no, I do love like gourmet coffee. But like, man, in a pinch, those Keurig things.
Yeah, it's just easy, right?
Oh, it's where it's at. Yeah.
And what he found is that after you use one of those pod things, you can actually cut that open. And the coffee is at just the right amount of moisture to put inside the bowl of your pipe.
Interesting.
And so you leave that inside the bowl of your pipe for I think Joe left it in there just for maybe a day or overnight or something. It wasn't more than a day. And you let that sit, and then come back to it, scoop it out, and then let it dry out maybe overnight. And then you have this interesting almost a hybrid of the two, the method where you're cleaning your pipe out, but also kind of flavoring it with some whiskey or something. He was able to swab it out and said that it just left the inside of his pipe really clean, really fresh, with a nice aroma of the coffee. And then once he lit his pipe, he said the coffee flavor lingered for just a moment. It was very, very quick, and then it left. And after that, he was left with a very clean, nice smelling pipe. And so I don't know, I thought I'd just pass that along and share that as an option for you. That's not something I'd heard before, but Joe had success with that. And pass that along to folks online on this pipelife.com. They actually talked about there were some other folks that tried it too and seemed to have some success with it as well.
Man,
so, pretty cool.
That is cool. I was thinking about like, all of these great tips and tricks in terms of like, keeping your pipe fresh and removing the smelliness of it. And it made me think of the fact, all right, I'm going to pitch something to you right now on the show. Here we go.
Okay, shoot.
Now, those who have been with us since the beginning and those who have become patrons, even if you just kind of become a patron for $1 an episode, you still get this RSS feed, which is our entire archive, our entire backlog of shows.
That's right. That's right.
3+ years. And on one of our earliest episodes that we did was actually, I can't remember what it was called, but basically it was you going through my pipe collection and kind of identifying what the pipes were, kind of discussing them and talking about them, that sort of thing.
I remember that.
About that. You make fun of the barbecue thing, but by comparison, that's way more thought out than hey, let's pull out my pipe collection. You just talk about it. Yeah. But I kind of want to revisit that concept and call it judgment. I want to put my pipes in front of you for judgment, for like the tobacco Jesuses to judge.
Me to just bring out as much hardcore disdain as I can in one episode.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, as you're talking about all these things and all these best practices, I know I'm guilty. I confess my sins to you right now. I am guilty.
We're gonna have to stop with this analogy. It's very disturbing to me. But yeah,
maybe push it a little bit too far. But seriously though, I would like to do some sort of like a judgment type episode where I bring
where I just pick out all the things that you do wrong.
Well, with my pipes specifically,
more than I normally do. Which is, you're right.
but
a tall order.
I would love to actually get those original pipes and bring them out. I don't want to pull out any of the ones that have been wonderful gifts from our listeners because I would hate to have.
He did what to my pipe?
Exactly, and so I'll choose the ones from earlier on.
Did he light that with a blowtorch?
I'm really curious to have you kind of like take a look and assess just how poorly I've been treating my pipes. But I will tell you the pipes that I always treat well.
Yeah. Those
are the good pipes from Missouri Meerschaum.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yes, sir. Yes. Hey, Missouri Meerschaum, an amazing pipe company. One of, if not the oldest pipe manufacturers in America.
That's right.
And of course, Missouri Meerschaum owner, Phil Morgan, now a member here of the Country Squire Radio Pipe Club. How awesome is that?
Pretty great.
And of course, Missouri Meerschaum sponsoring this show. So big shout out to them. Now, Missouri Meerschaum, they make almost exclusively corncob pipes. And if you're talking about quality corncob pipes, if you've actually ever seen a corncob pipe, chances are it's a Missouri Meerschaum.
That's right. If it was a good one, it was.
Man, they go out of their way in terms of finding good quality pipes. They do some really unique things in terms of their design. And man, we've got a pipe that's actually sponsoring this one. That's the Dagner. Now this is kind of interesting because this was a collaborative effort that they did with this particular pipe.
That's right. That's right. Jason Dagner got together with Phil at Missouri Meerschaum, and they had this idea. Okay, let's make a poker corncob and something that's just got a little class to it, but also kind of edgy. And in that Jason Dagner style, it just came out, I think, perfectly. It's got just a nice kind of medium size tallish bowl. The shank of the pipe comes out at almost a right angle, a little angled up, and then it's got a really nice silver metallic band on there. Just a good pipe. It's a good pocket pipe. It's got a really high quality stem with a good connection, and it's one of those that I think if you buy, you'll be very happy with. Retails for right around $20. Good value for a pipe, and one with a decent sized bowl, so you'll get plenty of smoke out of it, out of each load.
A fun thing about that one too is if you go back and listen to our episode that we did from the Chicago Pipe Show, you actually interview Phil talking specifically about that pipe and the creation of it. So you can get a little bit more additional history of how that was made. But big thanks to the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum. Hey, if you've got one of these Dagner Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes, be sure to smoke it this week. Take a picture of yourself, put it on Twitter. We will retweet that out. It's a way to say thanks to the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum for making this show happen. All right.
Man, I might want to smoke my Dagner poker tonight.
Like right now?
Yeah.
You've got
no, I'm all about my Stanwell, but yeah, I mean, gone.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Pipe question of the week this week comes in. We had a fan of the show, listener.
That's right.
Nina.
That's right.
Is a new pipe smoker. She asked the question, what is the difference? And this kind of tells you how new she is. She has, I'm just kidding. We want to show a lot of love to all the new pipe smokers out there. She asked, what's the difference between the length and the stem of the pipe? If it's a shorter stem, versus a longer stem? What are the pros and the cons? Why do you go for one or the other? What's the difference in terms of the smoke specifically? I mean, obviously the style difference are pretty obvious, but in terms of the actual quality of the smoke,
sure,
difference in the stem of the pipe.
Well, we talk about long stem smoking cooler. Obviously, that's something that folks are like, why do I buy a church warden? It looks like Gandalf, and that's cool, but why do I want to smoke that? And typically, we always first go to the fact that the smoke has more ability to cool down before it gets to your tongue, and therefore tends to smoke a little cooler. And so we like long stem pipes for that reason. Short stem pipes, just the opposite. You've got pipes that have less, real estate to cover before the hot air gets to your mouth, and so therefore they tend to smoke a little hotter. It might be a little more prone to tongue bite and things of that nature. And so that's kind of the main thing people point to. A couple things though to keep in mind with a long stem versus a short stem that I think some people overlook. Long stem pipes. If you think about I'm no physicist or scientist or anyone that's versed in fluid dynamics or anything, but
really,
I know that's very surprising. I know my history degree education from Mississippi State would say otherwise, but yeah. So so I'm not an expert in those things, but if you're thinking about how you're using your pipe, right? As you're puffing your pipe. You're breathing in and out of the stem, correct? And so when you're using that pipe, the longer stem pipe, more and more breath there's more condensation that is building up on the inside of that stem because it's just got more stem to build up on. And so if it's a longer stem pipe, if your breath's going in there and coming back out, there's just more opportunity for that air, the moisture in your breath, to collect on the side of that stem.
Yeah.
Now, where that becomes an issue is if you have a long stem pipe, a lot of times it'll develop gurgle because of that.
Gurgle.
And so, yeah, gurgle. So you've got these long stem pipes. They tend to smoke cooler. But if it's a really long stem pipe, it can collect all this extra moisture that short stem pipes just don't collect. And therefore, can kind of develop this gurgle. At some point, the gurgle can actually make the pipe smoke hotter, which is fascinating.
Oh, wow.
So, you've got, if enough of that gets into the chamber and interacts with the smoke and it starts to smoke wet and hot, you've got that. It's funny, we sell at the Squire, we have straight stem church warden pipes and we have bent stem church warden pipes. And the straight stem pipes, oddly enough, tend to smoke drier because that moisture doesn't build up all in one place at the bottom where it, I mean, if you've got a bent stem, it's all kind of collecting there at the bottom. But a straight stem, it kind of, evenly disperses throughout. So anyway, that's one thing to keep in mind. But, typically we say longer stem pipes are going to smoke a little cooler. But if if the stars align correctly and it's a real long church warden or something, they can smoke a little wetter, which is kind of interesting. So, anyway, something to keep in mind, but, there's always that argument of like, man, I like a long stem pipe, but it's not particularly practical, or, it's hard for me to tote around, and carry because it's just kind of cumbersome or awkward. And so that's just a trade-off you have to make.
Yeah. All right. Great answer.
Yeah.
And,
good question.
Thanks for the question, Nina. We really appreciate that. And hey, if you've got a pipe question of the week this week or next week, rather, you can send it in at show@countrysquireradio.com.
You nailed it.
I nailed it. That's how we do it. All right, man. Quick fire questions.
Ow!
All right. These quick fire questions sent in from thispipelife.com over in the forums there. This is user tomato. Oh, wait. I don't think I butchered it last time. Tomato Beau bod hi. All right, I butchered it this time. That's for sure.
Terrible. Tomato body
or something. That is not how you spell body.
Yeah.
All right, no, you got to give me that one.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. These again carry on kind of a theme, and the theme is beer. Bottle or tap/draft?
Tap. Oh my gosh. There's something about drinking beer off the tap. It's kind of like drinking a fountain drink.
Yes.
Fountain Coca-Cola always tastes better than something out of a can. There's something about I don't know how they the air infuses with it or something. I don't know. I love beer out of a tap.
Yeah, all the way, man. Draft all the way. It always frustrates me whenever I'm at like a beer pub and I order something that they don't specify. Like I always assume that it's draft, and then they come out and they bring out a bottle of it. I'm like, well, if you told me it was a bottle, I wouldn't have ordered it.
Exactly.
I would much rather choose a draft of a lower quality beer than a bottle of a higher quality beer.
On average, I think that's true.
Yeah. So definitely draft tap for us. Chilled glass or room temperature glass?
Chilled.
All the way.
We went. Beau and I are part of a men's group.
That's right.
That's actually how we met. We were in a men's Bible study, and this Bible study's not really defunct, but we only meet now once a month, and it's just kind of a hey, let's get together and talk about what's going on in our lives, kind of thing, and drink beer.
People got businesses and wives and kids, and
just life got complicated.
Yeah, it got complicated.
The frequency of our meetings got less and less. But anyway, there's this local Greek place here in Jackson, and last week Beau and I, with a couple other really good friends, met there, and man, it was
so good.
Honestly, the reason we chose that location is because the glasses are cold and the beer is cold, and that's it.
That it is,
and
man.
it was great, and it was great, and the
delicious.
waitress was kind enough to continually bring us frosty mugs.
Yeah, this waitress kept on like she came up to you to check on you a couple times. She's like, "I'll bring you a new frosty mug." You were gushing over how much you love the frosty mug.
No, I'm telling you, that's literally the reason we went to that restaurant.
And then you poured it into. Well, I won't even get into that.
Yeah, no.
So definitely chilled glass for me as well.
Yes.
And then finally, hops or malt?
So I don't fully understand the question, but since that's never stopped me from answering the question before, I'm going to go with hops because I love hoppy IPAs.
Yeah. I would assume they mean, do you want it more malty? Do you want it more hoppy?
Yeah. I don't know if you defined malty. Again, I'm not as much into the beer culture as I am other things, and so don't really understand malty, but I do like hoppy, and I know that.
All right, I'm about to say something that's maybe going to lose me a lot of cred with the beer culture and
Have
such.
you ever had any cred?
That's a good point. I did try for a while there. Actually, I was making some beer, and that's why I feel.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I feel a little bit okay to step out here, but it's been so long that I'm not sure where I'm putting my foot down. It may be in my mouth, but I believe that malty is kind of like the implication is kind of creamier, like in terms of like stouts and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And so
if that's the case, I could go maybe either way. I think I tend to prefer those crisp hoppy beers still, but yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so I could go either way as well. It is heavily dependent upon like what kind of mood I'm in. I think I'm going to lean towards hops as well, because I remember when I first started working in kind of like the product development division of the company I used to work for.
Sure, yeah.
My manager and mentor at the time, he would always, whenever we traveled, he would always say, "What's the local IPA?" And he would always go with that. And so like with this, I ended up like just ordering the same thing that he would order, and I had all these extreme hoppy beers, and it really kind of made me appreciate the complexity there. Especially just in terms of like different beer, beer pubs and such. So yeah, I think I'll lean towards hoppy, but honestly, it could go either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Great quick fire questions from Tomato Body. Let us know how we're butchering that, because everybody else is letting us know how I'm butchering everything.
Tomato Boat High. Tomato Bod High.
I think Bod High.
Yeah. Tomato Bod High.
That's what I'm reading.
There it is.
Regardless, you can find him at thispipelife.com, an awesome online community. If you haven't checked him out, you absolutely should. Thispipelife.com. They've got some forums. They've got a beautiful experience when you first log on. And also when you log on for the first time and register, it's absolutely free to do. But be sure you use the code CSR, because that lets them know you heard about it on this show. It's a great way to help out the show. So thispipelife.com, use the code CSR when you register and sign up there.
That's it.
All right. Listener feedback this week. Got some great listener feedback. Actually,
a bunch of it. Yeah.
This first one is actually kind of in reference to the good folks at thispipelife.com. Why don't you take that one, John?
Sure. This is from Adam B. He says this on Facebook. I think you should contact the Scandinavian Tobacco Group about an extension to their pipe and tobacco website, referencing, of course, thispipelife.com. We all know how hard it can be to work the whole pipe smoking gig into a modern dating context. Yes, we do. Pipe smokers all around deserve to have a place for their own to meet, connect, and start their romantic lives together.
Aww.
Hence, thispipewife.com.
Thispipewife.com.
I'm just saying, if there can be a farmersonly.com, there can be a thispipewife.com.
Oh,
I think there might be some legs to that.
Wow.
No, I think Adam has a point.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
I don't know. This pipe wife, that's got
the domain. He's purchasing the domain right. Somebody's purchasing.
I bet someone's already purchased it.
I bet it's Pylor's.
They're going to make a fortune.
I bet it's
probably
It's going to be
Pylor's.
He's going to plug it in, and it'll be the social aspect of
thispipewife.com.
It'll be thispipewife.com.
We guarantee the best pipe relationship ever.
Brilliant.
That's fantastic.
Also, we got in John Archer. He writes in kind of reference to some conversations from earlier episodes. He said that the Holmes hat, we talked about the Sherlock Holmes hat.
Yeah, right.
Is called a deerstalker. I think we kind of stumbled around.
Yeah, deerstalker cap.
That's right.
That's right.
He says, tragic news about Dunhill. What about the tobacco? I love all of their blends.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned that they're kind of there's a little bit of a nebulous stage right now.
And I think everything, the stuff everyone is kind of hearing and agreeing upon right now is that all their tobacco products are what's on the chopping block. I mean, these are the things that they are saying they are discontinuing production of, and so you've got Dunhill pipe tobacco. Also, a lot of folks in the pipe world don't realize there are Dunhill cigars as well. Dunhill has made cigars for decades, and they're delicious cigars. I don't think is quite as high quality, to be honest, as their pipe tobaccos are, but Dunhill, just a name around the pipe community for over 100 years, and so but their tobacco products specifically are what's on the chopping block. I'm starting to hear some rumors that maybe their pipes are going to still be in production, the actual pipe itself. But you've got the pipes, the pipe tobacco, and of course the cigars. That's kind of what they're saying they're going to get out of the business of, which is really really disturbing. And also just it's just sad. Yeah, it's just sad. So we'll see. I'm hopeful that someone. It's such a lucrative name. It's such a name with such an incredible story in the pipe world. I just have this sense that someone will swoop in and buy the rights to that stuff in order to continue to produce it. So we'll see where that goes. I'm not sure exactly what the future of that is, but in the meantime, there's a lot of folks out there stocking up on Nightcap and 965 and Royal Yacht and all the other Dunhill blends that we love. So
we'll keep you posted too as we hear more information. And I think once kind of some of the dust settles a little bit more in terms of kind of the future of some of these things, I would not be surprised to see kind of a look at Dunhill. We did one actually last year in March. We actually did an episode about Dunhill specifically, but I think it like I said, as things kind of settle out, we'll probably do a revisit of it. We also got some feedback here on the live show, huh?
Yeah, we sure do. Sean Dennis at Sean M. Dennis on Twitter, he says, can we get a podcast where at the Real Beau York does nothing but reads from the phone book?
No. Oh my gosh. No, absolutely not.
That'd be so offensive. I'm all for it.
Oh no. Wow. That is torture for everybody involved.
No, that's great.
That's terrible.
Our good friend Pappy Joe, he says hoppy beer is like chewing on pine straw. Which that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. I know a lot of folks that aren't crazy about hoppy beer. They just don't like that kind of
you either like it or you don't.
Pine flavor. Yeah, that's
no
in
middle
there.
ground
But
there.
Anyway, and we've got some folks too talking about just kind of our topic. At J Coop 12, Jason Cooper, he says, I need to try the salt treatment on my Peterson system pipe. And I think if you are having trouble with the odor or a lingering taste in your Peterson, Jason, give it a shot. It's one of those things too that a lot of folks really do reuse. They use the salt method to essentially reset their pipe. And so, if you've had a pipe, you've smoked a bunch of one tobacco out of, and it's just really seasoned for that, and you kind of like to pivot in a new direction with that briar, give it over to the salt treatment and see if that helps.
That's good.
Yeah.
We also had Miles Williamson in Scotland ask if he can join the pipe club. Even though he's in Scotland. Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
Head over to patreon.com/Country
International
Squire
Pipe
Radio.
Club, baby.
It's the International Pipe Club.
That's right.
And the more folks outside of this area that do that makes it the more international.
Oh, it's just so international.
Yeah, absolutely. So you must do it.
Miles, we'd love to know what part of Scotland you're from. And also what football team you pull for.
Yeah, keep us posted on that. And then speaking of the club, we had Ryan Smith. He sent in some club member feedback. They've been going back through the archive of all these old episodes, and so Ryan asked the question: I need an update on everyone's feeling on the Dave Matthews Band. Does Beau own a copy of Away from the World? And again, this is Ryan Smith. I don't own music anymore.
Does anyone?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, I say that. I recently got a vinyl record player for the studio, and I did.
That's good.
Yeah, I kind of come through. There's a record shop in town here called Offbeat, and so I kind of thumbed through some of what they had available and picked up some really interesting stuff. I'll actually, if y'all are interested, I'll take a picture of it and put it out on the Twitter sometime this week. But yeah, so but all that to say, no, I actually don't own that, but I still love the Dave Matthews Band, and yes, they are better than the Beatles.
No, it's good. That's good.
You agree?
No, that
I didn't know.
I don't agree, but I endorse your right to be wrong.
Check out the archives for that original debate / discussion / feud within the Country Squire Radio early community. That archive available to you for becoming a patron for just as little as $1 an episode. Patreon.com/Country Squire Radio, or better yet, head over to CountrySquireRadio.com where you can find that information. You can also tune in every Monday night at CountrySquireRadio.com at 6:30 Central Time. That's 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, to tune in for the live show. We'd love to have you join us. You can follow us as well throughout the week. You can follow me. I'm at The Real Beau York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
Of course, the show's handle is at Squire Radio. And by the way, I got to give a shout out because the live listeners, the live viewers, those of you who are tuning in for the live show, they've been doing this thing, man. They've really been diving pretty hardcore into the memes, and it's been aggressive lately. And I gotta say,
it's fantastic.
You if you're somebody, if like right now you're listening to the podcast, and all you've ever done is listen to the podcast.
That's right.
First of all, thank you. Awesome. That's awesome. But do yourself a favor. Just head over. At Squire Radio, our twitter.com/Squire Radio. We try to retweet all of those memes out. It's one of those things, like if I find it offensive, like towards me, John David will retweet it. And if it's offensive towards John David, I'll retweet it. So we got it covered.
It all goes out.
It's all there. So just comb through all of these ridiculous memes.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And enjoy that extra little bit of frosting there on the cake that is Country Squire Radio podcast
experience.
Yep. And again, all of that information and more can be found at CountrySquireRadio.com.
Man, this was a fun episode. I just had a great time.
I got to tell you, man. When you mentioned you wanted to do something on smelly pipes, I thought, really? But I knew, I was like, whenever
it's an issue.
Whenever there's little things like this, we always end up having like a blast.
No, it's great. There's a lot of resources out there too that I think folks aren't aware of, and so obviously this Pipe Life, we talk about them and point people there. And Joe had such a great idea with that. And I would invite, if anyone else has a smelly pipe issue that they want to talk about, we'd love to read that maybe on next week's listener feedback or something like
Absolutely.
that. So I love Russ Hicks tweeting in a picture of Elmer Fudd going, shh, I use thispipewife.com.
Oh my gosh. Brilliant.
Fantastic.
All right. I think with that one, man, let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
Okay, guys. Thank y'all so much.
That was great. Yeah, we really enjoyed it, man. So much fun. I've gotten to the point now where I really look forward, probably within the last, I don't know, just a moment of candidness here. I
do it.
Probably look forward more to Monday nights in the past 3 months than I have in a long time. It just seems like we have so many folks showing up live that engage with us and talk with us, and afterwards, tweet and all this other stuff. And man, I just really feel like I'm in the midst of an awesome community, and Monday nights have become as fun as they were. They're even more fun now. And I don't know, y'all make this really special. We hope it's special for you, and it's really special for us. Is a great way to start off the week.
No, you guys honor us by letting us hang out with you, whether you're in your living room, at your office, on your desk, on your porch, enjoying a pipe, trying to get work done. The fact that you let us sit down and spend some time with you, it means a lot to us.
It's really great.
We definitely do not take that for granted. So thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's have a night.
Good night, y'all. See you.